Hello guys, this is Donald's Movies, and welcome to the World of Warcraft lore Q&A number 51. In this video, I will be answering some of the questions that you guys have left in the previous video, and if you'd like to get your questions answered, make sure to leave them in the YouTube comment section under this video, or you can send your questions by Facebook and Twitter, and don't send them by YouTube personal messages, as a lot of times I just miss them and I can't answer them, and I know I missed them in the past, so it's just the best if you put it in the YouTube comment section, because then I can just go to like previous videos and see which questions are for a certain Q&A, so that's honestly the best way. But I can also answer your questions if I don't feature them on Facebook and Twitter. Like if I don't feature them in my video, I will answer them on Facebook and Twitter. So let's not waste any more time, let's get into the actual questions. The first question is by Ethan, and he asks, will we be seeing Draenor Frostwolves and the Laughing Skulls in Azeroth once Worlds of Draenor is finished? So, honestly, this is a really confusing topic, as a lot of people still don't understand really how the alternate universe works, because we're pretty much going to an alternate Draenor, which has a lot of similarities with our universe, but honestly isn't even the same, but events are happening at the same time as they are on Azeroth. Now, whether they will come back or not is actually the real question, because what would happen if Durotan came with us? Because honestly, he died in our universe, and if he comes back, how that work in our actual universe, I don't think that was fully answered. And I know they addressed what would happen if, for example, Rexxar, like our Rexxar came to Draenor and then we have Rexxar, because we wouldn't have like two characters. But I don't think they addressed what would happen if he came to like Azeroth from Draenor. Also, it's kind of the same thing as I mentioned with Rexxar, because he's still alive in our universe. He may be like 90 years old or something like that, but he's still alive, and how would that work if he came from an alternate Draenor to our Azeroth and he's still not Azeroth? I feel like it would kind of mess with the history and some of them would die or something like that. So a lot of characters probably wouldn't be able to be there, while maybe characters, yeah, like Yrel, on the other hand, are a whole different story, because she might come to Azeroth with us, since I don't think she existed in our universe. A lot of people speculate that maybe she died and was in like a romantic relationship with Marad, while other people speculate that she is Marad from our timeline, which is, it's kind of really confusing. I don't think it was fully addressed. But in conclusion, I think she is one of the characters that might come back, but I don't think we'll be seeing some characters like Durotan or Draka or Drektar or anything like that. Alright, next question is by Kazeto, and he asks, how old do humans and orcs have to be before they're considered old and not capable of fighting anymore, and does it differ from person to person? Alright, so this is an interesting question, because I faced this before my main character, which is an orc. He's like a seasoned war veteran, which is like pretty old. He's not like Drektar old, but he's around 60 years old or something like that. And I would definitely say it differs from person to person, just like it would be in like real life, because you have people that are in good shape at like 70 years old, where some people like in really bad shape at like 50 years old. So I think it's really dependent on their lifestyle. But in World of Warcraft, I think it would also depend a lot on the class. For example, Drektar is a shaman and he's like super old. He can't even walk and he can't see anything. He's still very powerful because he's a shaman. While if he was like a warrior, he would be completely useless and wouldn't even be able to do anything. Now on the other hand, we have Saurfang, who is also old. Definitely not as old as Drektar, but he's older and he's still quite an efficient warrior. He's definitely not in his prime, but he's still pretty strong. Now this was actually mentioned in the Shattering when Troll considered to name Saurfang as the war chief, but thought he was too old for the role and sort of out of his prime, so he wouldn't like be the best leader. So in conclusion, it really depends on your character's physique, then it depends on his class and lifestyle, and just don't go around having like 100-year-old orc warriors being like the best warrior ever and all of that. Alright, next question is by Rokar, and he asks, it's clear that the old gods exist on other planets other than Azeroth, Sharamon Valley, old god being summoned. Do we have any idea where they originate from, and could the old gods' full power compete against the Pantheon with their old champion gone? How would the old gods do against the Burning Legion for that matter? Alright, so this is a bit of a confusing matter. I mean, we do have proof that the old gods exist outside of Azeroth, and could be all over the universe as far as we know. We don't really even know that many worlds. We know like 5, which are mentioned in like just smaller hints. We only know about like 3 worlds that are like really important, like Argus. We know about Draenor and obviously Azeroth. Well, some other worlds are mentioned, but we don't really know too much outside of a few like in-game hints or like in books. But we don't really know how they actually even got to Azeroth, and the entire thing with the old gods and the titans was briefly explained. So it is said that the old gods are like really powerful, and if they banded together, they would probably be even stronger than the titans, meaning they could probably defeat Sargeras. Of course, if they're united, Because separate, I don't think they would be that strong. And I believe on this year's BlizzCon, someone asked like, is Sargeras scared of the old gods? And they pretty much said no. But maybe they would be like stronger than Sargeras or the Titans if they were like fully united, because they're pretty strong when they're together. Now, their power is obviously limited. I mean, they're really strong, but their power is limited, because if it wasn't, they wouldn't like be underground right now, waiting to escape for thousands of years and just whispering people all the time. Now, I definitely think that their forces combined would be stronger than the Burning Legion, but they're also chaotic evil, just like the Burning Legion, so I don't really think they would fight each other. But then it could really depend on their vicious goals, as the Burning Legion wants to like destroy worlds, and the old gods just want to like create eternal torment and like have other people serve them. So it is quite an interesting topic to think about, and I believe at some point in the future we might get some more information about a lot of things that are just speculations right now. And what would my Q&A be without questions about the old gods, Titans, Sargeras, the Burning Legion, and also Sylvanas? Alright, the last question is by Novak, and he asked, it isn't mentioned anywhere, but how did Rexxar get to Kalimdor? We know that during the Second War, correct me if I'm wrong, he was with Crom Hellscream defending the Dark Portal. It wasn't mentioned anywhere that he joined Troll and set sail to Kalimdor, yet after the Battle of Mount Hyjal he was in there. And by the way, Troll and Grom fled to Kalimdor from Hillsbred foothills in Eastern Kingdoms, which is far away from the Blasted Lands. Alright, so that definitely is true, as he did join the Horde and he was there with Grom Hellscream, but once like a warlock drained the life essences of his pet, I believe it was a wolf, that was like the final straw, as he couldn't tolerate the orcs anymore, and their just senseless killing and murder and all the bad acts they did. So he abandoned them and just started roaming the wilds. Now, I don't think it is really mentioned anywhere on how he managed to get to Kalimdor, like officially, but a lot of people speculate that he tagged along with the ogres, which then adds to the question, how did the ogres get to Kalimdor, because they're like dumb? But the answer is by ships. I know it's kind of surprising, but they apparently can make ships, and I believe they had like Juggernaut ships, and it's either made by them or it's either made by goblins, but I believe they can actually make ships. I mean, they aren't that dumb as people think about, because you can see on Draenor that they had like huge cities, not like huge cities, but they had like empires and clans and everything like that. Now, I don't think he really got there together with the orcs, and another scenario is also that he might have paid someone to get there, maybe some goblins who were traveling, or just some traders going from Eastern Kingdom to Kalimdor, so he kinda tagged along, or maybe he hid in some sort of a ship or something like that. Although he's a pretty big guy, I mean, he's not like an ogre, but he's bigger than an orc, so I don't think he would be able to hide under the deck or something like that. So I don't really think it was fully explained, but those are just my speculations and kind of my views on what I think about the question. Alright, and that's all I have for this Q&A. Thanks a lot for watching, and do leave your questions for the next Q&A. As I said at the start of the video, and pretty much in any video by now, you can leave your questions in the YouTube comment section and send them by Facebook and Twitter, as if I don't feature them, I will try to respond to them, and just don't send them over YouTube personal messages, because it's a really bad system and I miss a lot of questions. So don't forget to like, favorite and subscribe, as it really helps with the channel and keeps all these videos going and all the content. And the more like support I get, the more I'll improve on the content, so every like and favorite and view is really appreciated. Also check out my Twitch.tv channel, as I will be streaming there quite soon. Probably like since this video is scheduled, since I'm away, I'm probably gonna be streaming in like a week after this video. So yeah, do follow me on that channel, as I will be streaming a bit more seriously. Anyway, thanks a lot for taking your time to watch this video, and see you next time.